Okay, well here we are at more or less the level of the gorge. It's about, I think it's about 600 metres above sea level here. But anyway, we're going to go up the road. This is a really steep climb from here on in. Battery starting at 53 volts. So yeah, should be interesting. I'm wondering how many cars I'm going to see. And I've got my thermal camera with me to, I better just check that I've got the right power setting on here, because I'd like it to be a little bit faster. Yeah, that's all good. So we've got the power setting and the cruise control. So let's head off. So basically, this is a pretty steep, long bit of climb. I think I'll be doing not terribly much slower than I would normally on my motorbike anyway, because the corners are pretty tight, so it's hard to do much more than 40 or 50 k's around some of this anyway. So as far as I'm aware, the Mercane does like 22 or so kilometres an hour all the time. Actually, I've just realised I haven't started my GPS. Hang on a minute. Let's just pull over here. Haven't gone that far, so won't change too much. And okay, so we've started the GPS. Map doesn't know where the hell we are yet because I'm not in any coverage, but that's all right. So let's get going. Really is just magnificent forest here. It's kind of halfway between rainforest and wet sclerophyll. It's not real wet at the moment though. I got my infrared camera with me as well, thermal camera, just to have a quick look at the wheels when I get up there. I don't think that it'll be a problem. Anyway, pretty good countryside around here. Seem to recall that if I turn sideways you get a lot of wind noise, so maybe I'll try and avoid that. I gotta say, this is probably one of the most enjoyable little rides I've had up here on any two-wheeled vehicle, just because I really get to look at the countryside, even more than if I was a pillion passenger, because I'm going so much slower. Bloody hell. Now, an interesting piece of fact around here is that this is the border pretty much between Queensland and New South Wales. Just head into here. Look at that. Does off-roading quite okay. Now, this is actually the rabbit-proof fence that separates Queensland from New South Wales. Not because we need that for separating the places, but there was a plague of rabbits soon after Western occupation of Australia, when we all started migrating over here. Some fucking idiot thought it was a good idea to bring some rabbits, but it's really, really nice countryside. Now, that walk up that track there is bloody hard. In a couple of places, it's a rock climb. So the border is kind of really interesting here. The border was chosen based on which way the water catchment ran. So from the northern side of this runs into Queensland water, and on the other side it runs into New South Wales. That little sort of ability of the Mercane to do that off-roading stuff is pretty handy, and a lot of it's to do with the wide wheels. Now, in terms of limiting the top speed, the wide wheels are a hassle. Like, you know, if you really wanted to get the max speed out of this thing, you definitely want narrower tyres. But the advantage of the wide wheels is that they kind of give you a lot more flotation on soft stuff, so you can, you know, go over grass and stuff. And especially with, it's got two motors, one at the front, one at the back, the front one isn't actually getting jammed into stuff, it's actually pulling its way out of stuff, so that's really interesting. By the way, voltage dropping into the 40s here, but this is pretty steep here. This is pretty steep. Be interested to see what the grade is on this. I reckon it'd be a few percent. Down to 47.5, but again, this is pretty steep stuff. And these batteries are being hammered by this, pulling my 70 something kilos and the 20 something kilos of the bike, so all up this 1000 watts hauling 100 kilos odd up the range here. Be interesting to see how well the brakes handle this on the way back down. I'll be, you know, using the brakes as coaster brakes, because it's a hell of a drop over there. You don't want to go off the side of this thing. 47.2 stabilised. Okay. Yeah, more or less. People are friendly, aren't they? Hopefully no one breaks into my car. 46.9. Geez, that's buckling down. Doesn't like this. But it'll get a bit of a break in a minute, because coming up, 47.6 again. It's all pretty steep all the way along here. That's why I chose this. I figured it'd be like a marathon torture test of the scoot. I don't think I'll actually even slow down for this corner. Oh yeah, we got 48 as soon as we come up to just, you know, hills, but this is a real first gear corner on my motorbike, because, well, yeah, buckling down again. Well, doing a kick does do something, but this thing's pretty heavy. Couple little hesitations from the batteries. 46.5. So this whole run here is like only about 3 or 4 kilometers to the top, but man, this is steep stuff. I think I might give the batteries a bit of a break here, and actually just feel the motors and go. Well, actually, the motors are barely over body temperature. Anyway, don't know if you can tell looking at this how steep that is, but man, that's steep shit. So let's help it along with a bit of a kick. Interesting. I found that when it's really struggling, the cruise control doesn't want to actually engage, so you've got to keep it hammered. Well, this is less steep. No, still doesn't want to engage that cruise control. Thought I'd just pause here and let you have a little bit of a look at what's down there. So we've pretty much come from that level where the valley is down there. Just check my settings here. Yeah. Well, let's keep it going. Well, this is less steep here, so it's popping back up to 47. And it goes to Kookaburra. Oh, and that air feels so cool and lovely. Oh, okay, well, we've now got it encouraged into using cruise control. So now we've come to the top of the range. I've been down this way a little bit from the last time I came for a squirt along this area. We've got that was the turnaround point the last time I came here. And I had my car parked just down there. It's nice that I've picked a time that there's no cars coming. So yeah, even that thinks that it's 3 kilometres down. So let's go back and see how the brakes go. One of the good things about disc brakes is that they're actually designed to shed heat better than drum brakes. People think that they stop better, but actually, if you go back to the 1930s, a lot of the race cars were using drum brakes back then. One of the reasons for that is that big swept area. But that was before hydraulic discs. Well, this is good. I'm only needing to just put a little bit of pressure on the brakes. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but even just that finger is enough to be dragging the brakes to keep my speed under control on this descent. It's just comfortable to use 2 fingers and the other 2 wrapped around. But yeah, this is totally within the braking capacity of this thing. As is usually the case, things have got better braking capacity than they do. Oh, am I getting a bit of brake fade here? I think I am. That's interesting. What's my brake? Wow, the disc is really getting warm there. So that's interesting. So this thing's really not that able to shed the heat compared to other designs. That's literally too hot to touch. I'm going to have to give that a little bit of a cool down, or I'm definitely going to have brake fade. Well, that's very interesting. Well, sort of makes sense. It's not that big a disc. Now, yeah, just that's interesting. Well, just goes to show you. This is really punishing the brakes more than the motors. Fascinating. Not that it's a bad trip. Still walking. Okay, well, I'm pretty much back at the car now, so I know that on other roads around here I've been able to do these sorts of downhills without even touching the brakes, which is what's happening now. I'm doing this sort of downhill without touching the brake. So this has been very educational.